Hello there, today I'm going to talk to you about Sebo PCBs. So if you're a repairer or you're in the trade or you're a DIYer at home repairing a Sebo, the range of PCBs that fit Sebos some people find quite confusing. We do have an article on our blog all about this, which I'll link to. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll link to it in the text below. And on our website, seboshop.co.uk, we do have as well quite comprehensive information in the individual PCB listings. What we've got less of is which ones you can swap over and update, which ones can you mix and match, which ones can't you, and so on. So I'm going to go through the different types of Sebo X series PCBs today. I'm going to show you close up and I'm going to tell you what you can and can't do, so you don't inadvertently get it wrong if you're trying to repair a machine on your own. Now, later machines, which would be the X7, the X8, the XP10, the XP20, the XP30, they have a single PCB, which is this one. Older machines had two PCBs. So this one here is the only one that you're going to find on X7s, X8s and XP models. There's actually two versions of it. They've just released just recently a very slightly facelifted one. They've just changed a few bits and pieces. Doesn't matter, they're both interchangeable. And unless you had them both side by side, you'd probably not know the difference. So they are actually quite expensive. There's not too many of those even around second hand, because X7s and that shape of machine are so good, they tend not to get broken for spares yet, or too much at all. So they don't go wrong very often, thankfully, because they are over 100 quid. But you cannot swap and change those around because there's only one version of them. The older ones is where you've got a little bit more latitude, so I'm going to show you the two different types of those. So the early machines are fitted with a pair of PCBs like this, and you can chop and change these around a little bit, and I'll explain more to you about that shortly. Later X4 machines had these PCBs in, and I'm also going to tell you what you can and can't do with those with different versions of machines. So what we're going to do now is just have a closer look at the different PCBs, because there's obviously there is several versions of the same one, just to confuse you. And so, but by the end of this video, if you're repairing Sebos, you will know everything. Right, let's have a closer look. Just before I show you the actual PCBs, I'll make sure we're on the same page. So now we're talking about Sebos X1, X1.1, X4, X5, and we're also talking about very old Sebo XP1, XP2 and XP3, but you don't really see many of those anymore. There's very few of them around. So over here I've got a Sebo X4 that's see-through. I'll just show you where they're situated on the machine. Down here is the smaller of the two PCBs, that's the power board. On the front here, where the lights are, is the main PCB, which is the control board. Now, the other thing you'll want to know when I talk about it in a minute, when I talk about a machine with boost, there's a couple of special editions, but the majority of the ones I'm referring to is the X4 PET, the black X4 PET. There was a blue version at John Lewis, I think, in Hughes once upon a time, that had a boost on as well. But if your machine has this button here in the middle, where you press it, it lights up green and the head sinks further into the carpet, that would be a boost machine, and you'll need to know that if you don't already when I'm about to refer to individual machines, what you can and can't do when you can't do this with the boost. So let's look at the PCBs themselves. So I'll start where I started at the beginning. This one is the newest one. This is a power board and a control board combined that you find in the X7, the X8 and the XP models. Now, there's nothing to change or swap and change around on these. If you need one, you need one. You have to buy one, that's it. So on the early machines, which is the very old XP, the XP 1, 2 and 3, mostly the X1, some of the very early X1.1s and X4s, you have either of these. So let's start with this one. These are the power boards off the side. There's actually three different versions of this one. You'll find them numbered 5195, 5106 and 5913, but they look fundamentally the same. They've all got this big metal block on there going on. That is the early power board. So when you look at the early PCBs, there's a couple of different ones of those as well. You can tell that they look rather similar but not absolutely identical. They're usually 5740, the number on those. The very early Stein & Co ones are labelled 5196-F or 94VO. Those are the main boards. Now, by and large, those two, this type of power board and this type of main board, you need to use those together. Okay, you can't put one of those with one of these or one of those. That's the first thing you need to know. Now, on the later machines, and this certainly includes machines with a boost, later X4 models this is, they are fitted with this type of board. So the power supply is this one here, the smaller one, and the main board is that one there. The power supply is numbered 5847 and the other one is 5849. Now, if you have a machine with a boost feature, you must replace like with this, because those little metal strips there where it says JE1 and JE2 are activated with a magnet in order for the boost to work. Now, if you have a machine that has these boards fitted and you know they're faulty and the machine is not a boost machine, then you can fit a pair of those older ones. And one of the beauty of the older ones is that on the board they have, if I zoom in there, you see that little where you can put a Phillips screwdriver in. On the old one, I think you have to put a little flat blade in to get to it. That is your bag control adjustment, so your bag light. Now, on the later type, if you need to adjust the bag light, you need to send it in, really, because it's not a straightforward way of doing it. They can be reset, and I'll talk about that shortly after. So if you have a boost machine that's fitted with these boards, you must replace like with like. And if you're not sure which one is faulty, if you're unable to test it, then there is a special price for the pair. But say, if you have an older machine, if you have a machine that is fitted with those that hasn't got a boost, then you can fit a pair of those, and we sell those also as a pair on our site. Now, if you're thinking about replacing one of the old boards with like for like, you know, very seldom you're going to have to replace this one. See where that green cap is? Every now and again you might get one of those green caps that blows, you'll see it. But these are extremely reliable boards. Very, very seldom you'll need to change one of those. Again, these ones are rather reliable as well, and some would say more reliable than those, which is why people tend to retrofit them in later machines that don't have a boost. So in general terms, you've got the older pair and you've got the newer pair. Now, you can put a newer pair into an older machine like an X1. You absolutely can, because if the old ones are out of stock, because we only have recycled stock of these, if old ones are out of stock, yes, you can absolutely fit a new set into an old X1 or an early X4. Now, if you have a later machine and you want to replace them and you don't fancy spending the money that it takes to have a new set of those, then as long as it's not a boost machine, you can put a pair of those in. So what goes wrong with these boards? So let's just briefly as well touch on what goes wrong with them. So let's start first with the early pair of boards. What goes wrong with those? Well, as I touched on before, the power board there, they are super reliable, denoted by the fact that we've got loads and loads of second-hand ones and they're dead cheap. They very seldom go wrong. Occasionally a cap will blow. But by and large, they are super reliable. They tend not to go wrong. There's a couple of little bits and pieces to go wrong with the main board, and that really applies to both types, but this one. You can have a problem with the bag control light, which is adjustable on the old one to a degree, like I've showed you. And also the little chip there where it goes near the belt sensor. Sometimes they can go faulty or crack or break. But by and large, these also are a really good board. And that's why we're happy to retrofit these into later machines, because they are very reliable. In fact, on the new X4s that we build, because we build, you can still buy an X4 from us, a brand new one. We're about the only place in the UK that you can, because we build them out of parts. We've got articles on our blog about this. The only second-hand parts that we put in those machines that we build are the PCBs, just to keep the price down a little bit, and we tend to fit a pair of old ones in because they're so reliable and because they can be adjusted manually. Now, if you look at the later ones, what goes wrong with the later ones? Well, similarly with the power board, very seldom the power board goes wrong. That they're extremely reliable. The only thing that these really are known for is the bag light coming on. So if you've got an X4 where the bag light is on and you know that the bag isn't blocked, you know the bag isn't full, you know the machine isn't blocked, but the bag light's still on, then that's often one of the reasons that people tend to buy new boards. Now, in actual fact, that very often, let's say 90% of the time, when you've got the red bag light fault on an X4, it can be fixed. This board can be, well, we can reset this board. And we have a service that costs £30, including return delivery, where you can send it to us. And what we do, we put it in a machine, we use our tool and we reset it and take it out and send it back to you with Royal Mail. So down in the description below, I'm going to put also a link to that service. So if you've got a boost machine and then you have to replace this board like with like I've explained to you already. So you either buy a brand new pair of them, or you have the one you've got reset. So it's cheaper, a little bit cheaper to have it reset than it is to buy a new pair. Depends what you're comfortable with. And if you send us one of these in and we try to reset it and we can't reset it, then it doesn't cost you anything apart from the postage to send it in. But that isn't very often. More often than not, we can reset these. It takes 2 or 3 goes sometimes, but we can reset them, and you're probably unlikely to have the problem again. So if you need a set of PCBs, now you know everything about it. So down below, I'm going to put a link to a blog with all the part numbers and everything else that I've talked about through the video. So we have a blog post all about it. I'm going to put also down there information on how to send one of these in to get repaired, and also a link to our shop where you can buy all the X series PCBs, any other PCBs you need for any model of Sebo, and indeed any other Sebo parts at all, because we are the largest Sebo specialist in the north, if not one of the largest in the country. So if we haven't got it for Sebo, you probably don't need it. So thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've got any basic questions, you can use the comment box. We'll do our best to reply to you there. We don't tend to reply technical emails on a one-on-one basis, so if you need more technical advice about retrofitting any boards or any other aspect of repairing a Sebo, then if you go to our main site or you go to our main Manchester VAX site, you can go on our advice forums, make a free account there, and you can ask questions there. And there's also a lot of old topics there and a lot of information that we share there as well. That's the only place our engineers give free advice. So if you want help on mending a Sebo, use our forums for that. Thank you for watching and see you next time.